Hello, my friends. I know I've been having some people in this group curious about how I do my transfers and how to just how it all works for me. So I'm going to start out by showing that I do have one ready to go already, but I'm going to show you what's super important about this process. There's 3 steps. The first step is to pre-sand your wood. You want it to be really smooth so that you have a really easy transfer and really easy time burning your piece. Because if you don't sand it, you're going to have, you know, these bumps and ridges in the wood that are going to prevent you from getting really clean lines and stuff. The next step is to have a LaserJet printer. Not any printer is going to work. You have to have a LaserJet printer, and it's a really interesting fact why is because LaserJet printers use microplastics, so you want to have a mask on and maybe have some ventilation going when you're doing this. But what you're doing is giving like a temporary tattoo on the wood, right? So as you can see here, you can't, everything's backwards on this. It's because I flipped the original piece horizontally. As you can see, you could see it look normal this way. It's because when I do the transfer, it's going to be mirrored and it's going to go on correctly. And now the third thing is to make sure your piece is secured on the wood. I use electrical tape. That's just a personal preference, or painter's tape works really well too. And what I use, I don't use my normal wood burning pen for this. I went and got a cheap, like $20-30 Wal-Mart kit, but you want to make sure it has this flat tip. It's about the size of a nickel, but it's a brass tip, and what this is going to do, it's going to help you heat transfer. When I do it, I turn it to pretty hot, I'll be honest, because you want to get it hot enough to where it melts those microplastics to transfer onto the wood. So while we wait for this to heat up, I'll just go through kind of my process, right? So I kind of hold this, I don't know, like the power thing here. I usually hold it because if it's loose, as you can see, it's gonna be kind of going all over the place and stuff, and it's gonna be quite annoying for you. So that's why I like to hold on to it. I just hold onto this part here, so that I can kind of go where I want to go with it. Now these tend to get pretty hot. They don't have much protection on the grip. I have just, you can order these curling iron gloves for pretty cheap. This is what I use. As you can see, like my other fingers are exposed, but I can still do what I use a fulcrum for, so you get more, you know, you can have more controllable movements there, but I don't need it for this type of thing really. So but this is what I like to do, is you make these small circular motions. Like this is pretty high, as you saw, but you're not stopping long enough for it to burn. If you're going so far, like if you're holding it on one spot too long where the paper's burning, you're not going fast enough. Because as you can see, you know, I got it up almost all the way up, but I'm not burning the paper. All I'm trying to do is heat up the paper so that the microplastics transfer on to the wood underneath. But yeah, as you can see, like it's starting to stick to the paper. You're starting to see the character underneath. I bought this from Etsy, the stencil that I'm using, for $1.78. It's really cheap to get some stencils on Etsy if you're wanting to do just quick pieces. This is for a person who knew what she wanted. She didn't want anything custom, which, you know, I do both custom and commission work, or custom and people's choice stuff. So went ahead and got the stencil and starting on this one. But yeah, so now this is about the time, you know, I'll turn on some music and because it is, you know, you got to go over it multiple times. Because if you don't, it's you're only going to get little bits and pieces of what you're trying to get on there. So I just do this. I just pick kind of a section and do it multiple times. So as you can see here, I'm kind of focusing on his head. A lot of people, you know, you watch tutorials on how to do this and they'll have like part of it undone so you can lift it up and down. From my experience, that's when you get like smearing and stuff, so I tend to just leave it alone until I feel like once you do it a couple times, because you will make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Practice makes progress. You know, you're not gonna get it right the first time. But eventually, like as you do this enough, you'll be able to notice because the paper starts to turn different. You can see like how like his head is like almost, you could almost see it perfectly. So to me, that's telling me I'm getting close. You know what I mean? But like I said, like you know, this is on pretty high heat. This is just normal printer paper, nothing special. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and probably turn on some tunes while we continue this. I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear it or not, but we're gonna knock this one out, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's done. So something else you want to be mindful of is like when you're coming towards an edge, you don't want to just sit and go in circles. You want to kind of work your way, go down one side, because you know this stuff, it is it is sticky underneath. So you want to kind of just go smooth with it up until the edge, you know. Because if you like go in circles around like an edge like this, eventually you're gonna get an air bubble here, like somewhere in the middle. So you want to kind of go just down and smooth it out if you get those air bubbles, because you don't want to trap it. But as you can see, like it's starting to be able to be discernible what I'm doing through the paper now. But once you're sure you got the ink stuck, that's when you can start doing your circular motions in these areas. But you gotta be sure you don't have any of those air bubbles, because you get an air bubble, it's gonna look pinched in the transfer. I actually might turn it up a little bit more. Like I can feel like it's not doing what I want it to do right there. We're just gonna go around this part again. Break it down. Purple tunnel's acting up here. But I do have another transfer I gotta do, but I might do that one tomorrow. I have tried alternative methods to this. Like we have a Cricut, and I have a Cricut, like a shirt, like a vinyl press. But like you can't get enough like pressure without burning, because it's stationary. Like I burn the wood, or I burn the paper. So that's why I like, to me, this is the tried and true method for this type of getting the types of transfers. I started out using carbon or graphite paper and whatnot, but I noticed, you know, when I'm, you know, I would where I'd have my hand rested, it would leave the graphite and stuff, and it was just really messy. This method I find to be more efficient, although you know, I will be honest, you know, like I said, this does what we're essentially doing is transferring LaserJet printer microplastics onto the wood. So when you're actually burning, like doing your project on this, you're gonna want to probably have a window open and a mask on or something. Like I haven't noticed anything big. I usually just have a window open. But for those who are health wary and stuff, more health wary than I am, that is something to be mindful of for this method. If anybody's got a problem with it, let's, you know, not talk crap in the comments. You know, I do understand what I'm doing and the risks, and I am conveying those same risks to anybody else. So let's just, you know, use this video for what it is, as a learning tool for those who aren't super experienced, and for those who want to use easier, less messy methods, which was what I wanted to do this for, because I'm not a classically trained artist. I legit started wood burning for Twitch. So for me, you know, I do a lot of like my custom stuff that I do. I use a program called Procreate, and it's been really, really helpful as a new artist to have that program. And I recommend any new artists and those new getting into pyrography to use Procreate on their iPad, because it's such a nice tool to have. It really helped me get proficient with what I do. And I've learned a lot over the last several years doing this, and it's tons of fun. And I just really enjoy wood burning. But as you can see, like it's almost you could see this through the whole paper now. So I'm getting pretty confident, like when we lift this up, it's gonna look really nice under here. But you know what? That's why I go over it so much, just because, like, you know, you never know, because I've been doing this method for about 2 years now, And there's times where I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be such a good looking one, and then I lift it up and it's barely there. That's when I first started, I was doing it on this heat level, and that's when I decided to bump it up to about there. And every once in a while, like for these bigger ones that are super dark and bold, I'll turn it up even more. But like I said, like you won't burn the paper as long as you keep the tip moving. Let this take a break and let it heat up some more. The type of wood I'm using, I'm pretty sure this is birch. This is the first time I've used this type of wood. I usually use basswood just because, you know, for me it's really smooth. It's like you're burning on paper almost with basswood because it's super tight grains. You don't see a whole lot of the, because what's in between these grains are oils, and you know, so when you burn, those oils are gonna pop and sizzle and scorch your wood and stuff if you burn too hot and whatnot. So I'm a little curious to see how this is gonna look on such a bold and dark colored piece. But you know, as long as it's been, you know, sorry about the dogs. As long as it's sat out long enough and it's dried good, I shouldn't have too many issues. But I like to use live edge stuff. It just, to me, it looks more pretty. But to each their own. I do not burn on particle boards or treated wood. You know, just because you do get, you know, the varnish and whatnot and glues in the particle boards and whatnot. And with the type of transfers I do, I want to try to minimize my what I'm breathing into that stuff, you know, and what's getting released into my house. So I tend to just stick to live edge untreated wood. I do not like pine. I do not like burning on pine at all. It is really hard to burn with pine because it's got a whole lot of natural oils in it. But I did a lot of research because, you know, I've been burning strictly on basswood for so long. I wanted to try something new, and I've read, you know, a lot of pyrographers like birch and walnut. So I'm giving birch a try. But like I said, you like this at first time you do this, like I would recommend just sticking to it until you're just like, holy shit, it's got to be perfect. You know what I mean? Because like once you lift it up, like the integrity of it is compromised. Like when you put it down, it might not always go in the same spot. I'm feeling pretty confident I'm getting, because the main thing I need is the outline. You know what I mean? Like as long as I got a good clear outline of stuff, the inside stuff doesn't matter. But just be sure, you know, when you're doing stuff like this, you get, if you're using other people's art, you either, like for me, like I pay for my stencils for the stuff that I don't draw myself. Like I'll go to Etsy and find stuff like this for Cricut stuff, and I'll go buy it because the people who do this put in a lot of hard work and energy into it, and make sure you go through the right channels to do this stuff. if you want to do certain things, you got to get artist licensing to do it, to make money on it. If you're just doing it as a hobby and not selling, I don't think it matters, personally. But if you're making money off somebody else's art, you need to make sure you do the due diligence and make sure it gets to the appropriate channels. Alrighty. Well, here's the scariest moment when you do this. Actually, you know what? There's another spot I think I want to hit again, and that's this kind of area here. It's because as I look at the screen, I'm not really seeing it as well as some of the other stuff. Okay. As you see, like, I've been rolling this on a high heat for going on a little over 20 minutes now, and you know, there's no burn or scorch marks. That's because I've kept the tip moving. The paper's starting to look a little weird, but you know, we've been rubbing it with heat, so it's starting to change shape a bit. That's why it's really important when you like, you're confident that you can do the piece. Because for me, like, I won't try it again. Like, if I lift this up and it's not good, I'll sand it off and start over, just because I didn't go hot enough, you know. So I want to be able to do a good job. And like I said, I'm not a classical trained artist or whatever, you know. I never did art, never drew or anything until I started woodburning on Twitch. Okay, we're gonna check it out. Okay. So as you can see, it's sticky. Good sign. There you go. Successful heat transfer. And now, you know, I'll go through and I'll burn it at a later date. But that's just how I do some of my stuff transfer-wise. Because, you know, I'm not confident enough to freehand stuff on wood yet. Like I said, I haven't done art my whole life or anything, you know, so, and you can't really, once you burn it in, you know, unless you got a planer and some other special tools, it's gonna take forever to fix it. So I just want to make sure I get a good, clean transfer of a stencil. And I'm really happy about this one. So here's the stitch. Thank you all for checking this out, and have a great time. Enjoy and be safe.